welcome to my stream where I have yet to decide on a consistent way to start these things off. Let's see, it's been a couple days since I last did this. We were, I believe, on chapter 4, as the screen says here. Let's see. We were just about to go visit Camp Scheffler. I'm going to try and put a little more energy in this time. I apologize if the last two videos have put anyone to sleep. All right. Tucson, Arizona, night of November the 6th. Sunrise, 6:45 a.m. You drive the Nissan around your parking lot a few times, getting a feel for it as the lights come on all over Tucson. The truck handles like a bucket of KFC sliding across a honey rink. Excuse me, honey rink, Jesus Christ. Consistently starting these off with inability to talk. The truck handles like a bucket of KFC sliding across a hockey rink, which is what you expect after paying less than $1,000 for a vehicle this new. The warped interior panels indicate that someone rebuilt this Frontier after a collision that should have totaled it. But the electronics work, and it's nice to have Bluetooth. The Bluetooth doesn't work, but it's nice to know it's there. At least you're high enough off the road to see around all the Chevy Silverados and Ford Raptors. You spot the Viper nightclub, accelerate hard, and scream to a halt outside. It's still early and the party won't start for hours, but Prince Leteau is already awake. You see his eagle, Riga. Did we decide if it's Riga or Riga? Again, this thing has names I cannot pronounce. You see his eagle, Riga, perched nearby. You double-check your maps. A few minutes later, a mortal flunky in an Ed Hardy shirt runs up to your Nissan with a USB on a lanyard. The flunky also makes sure you have your typewritten sheet of directions and false government IDs. Only deliver to Eileen Olive... God damn these names. Only deliver to Eileen Olive Krona, he says. It's a 7-hour drive to the big nothing on the map between Texas and Chihuahua. That's how you pronounce that, right? Is it? The Mexican state's the same as the dog, right? I hope. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong. Assuming this information is accurate, that means you can get there in one night and back the next. You've checked where you can stay on the way if you're refused shelter. There are a few hotels nearby, but you're going to be heading right out into the desert. You hope you don't have to spend a day wrapped up in a body bag. It's bad for the nerves. Julian calls you somewhere outside of Benson. A kill team's coming for all Ellen. God damn it, I can't talk today. A kill team is coming for Ellen Olive Krona, he says. Details are on the USB. You glance at the USB. It's just a regular-looking thumb drive, but it's encrypted. A kill team? The SI? In that case, why didn't Prince Leteau tell you to, hurry? You're probably wondering why you weren't told to hurry, Julian says. I can hear you sighing. That's good. It's good to keep breathing. Anyway, as usual, the ivory tower is acting like a good thing will last forever. Maybe you've passed that rat's nest in a... God damn it. Maybe you've passed that rat's nest of a mobile park in Mescal? That's their work too, but this is worse. The program at Camp Scheffler could fuel half of our people in Texas, but it's run by a greedy idiot. I'm offering you a deal. Let's take it over. You consider what to say. Obviously, Julian just blew your phone's cover so badly that you'll have to get rid of it, but now that you're talking, you need information. You force yourself to concentrate so Julian can hear you, then consider what to say. And I am going to slow down because I think I'm tripping over myself while trying to do this. I will try and keep it from being monotonous like it was before. Let's see. But why aren't I in a hurry? Something about this doesn't add up, and I think it's putting me in danger. Because you're being followed, Julian says. They're waiting for a Nissan Frontier with someone matching your description to reach the camp. Then they'll strike when Ellen panics, because they know she'll panic. You turn Julian's words over in your mind. Oh, one last thing, the Banu Hakim says. Your phone is now compromised. Thanks, Julian. What? Banks? We're not robbing any banks. You sigh. Just tell me about the phone. The poem? I'm just fucking with you. Okay, there's a storage space off of exit 306. Go to Unit 43, passcode is 3847. Drop your phone there, don't destroy the SIM. Then pick up the new one on the shelf. That's the only way you're finishing this job. He hangs up. You pull into the storage facility and do what you're told. The new phone is another disposable burner. Julian, you realize, isn't hiding from the Second Inquisition. He's using what they think they know to move them around the board in a game you don't fully understand. Security is tight around Camp Scheffler. You're followed once you turn on the main road. First by the Texas Highway Patrol, then by some kind of patriot/militia group in a Chevy Tahoe flying Gadsden and Blue Lives Matter flags. They only peel off when you reach the outer periphery of the camp. High fences topped with razor wire, guarded by men in face masks and goggles. The face masks look like respirators, and they're all painted the same way, like a great cat's mandibles. Though everyone seems to have respirators and at least one cat skull logo, weapons and other equipment are heterogeneous and irregular. From their mannerisms, you detect a mix of competent ex-military, police/security personnel, and untrained fringe militia types. The gate guard looks from your government ID to your very much non-government Nissan, shrugs, and waves you around to the parking lot. Throughout history, certain kinds of prisons have served as neutral meeting spaces and feeding ground for the kindred. Insane asylums, concentration camps, and gulags have drawn vampires with the promise of easy blood and relative security. Olive Krona, shadow director of Camp Scheffler and member of Clan Ventru, has hidden this place from regular inspection and allowed it to fester and grow ripe. You toll past open-air building pens where prisoners sit wrapped in reflective plastic blankets. Watching your Nissan with the dull and hopeless eyes. Guards patrol the with rifles or dogs. Good God, I can't talk today. As you finish your circuit and park, you watch some kind of shift. You watch some kind of shift change among the prisoners. They're being put to work in long, low Quonset huts. The wind carries the stink of unwashed and unhealthy bodies. And this is autumn. You wonder how they don't all boil in the summer. The moment you step out of the truck, a tall, dark figure of indeterminate gender in a dark suit approaches you and says, "Give me the USB." We can be cordial, right? Or, do we want to be cordial or do we want to be outright threatening, I wonder? Because I could go full anarch. But if I remember correctly, my character was trained in court crap. So let's go with this one. Good evening. Can I have your name and position in this organization? Big ol' fake corporate smile. They sneer. I'm Nile, and I'm the person Olive Krona sends when she needs a job done right, not you. So you give me the fucking USB, and get out of here. Let's see. Is this flunky for real? I start by investigating their appearance, using what I know of government and Camarilla protocol to see if they're legit. You keep them talking for a few more minutes. A careful analysis of their mannerisms reveals a few useful things. They're either a ghoul or a junkie, and given the amount of muscle they carry, they're probably not a junkie. They're not officially part of whatever militia group patrols this camp, but when a few of them pass by, their reaction is deferential. A non-binary person who can command the respect of these militia thugs has to be dangerous. Are they just non-binary because I'm non-binary? Because I swear they had a gender last time I played this. Or, you know, they were binary of some sort. It's irrelevant. But you get the impression that they're tired and looking for you to be reasonable. Threats won't work, but they seem amenable to persuasion and vulnerable to trickery in their exhausted state. Let's see. I give them a USB drive. Not the USB drive, of course. I stay cool and palm the real one. This deception will let me hand Nile a blank. Fine, fine, you say. You hold up your hands in a gesture of surrender. Flick your right hand, make the swap with your left, and hand them the blank USB. Don't yank me around again, you little leech, Nile says. Now follow me. Follow? That wasn't part of the deal. But you can see those masked guards all over the place, and they're watching you now. You reluctantly follow. They lead you to a bright red Quonset hut, guarded by a man and a woman who are also dressed in dark suits. I'm sorry, Nile, the woman tells your escort, but Olive Krona can't be disturbed. I have information from Tucson, Nile says. The woman shifts uncomfortably. I know, but... Is that you, Nile? That must be Olive Krona. She's inside. Is Misha there? It doesn't matter, it'll have to wait. Just give them a place to stay for tonight. Tomorrow night, I'm busy. I have data from Tucson, Nile says. But only silence answers them. Shit, the flunky mutters. They glance your way, then say, I'll find a place for you to stay, Misha. Don't wander far. Now to figure out a way to deliver the real USB. You wander right back to your Nissan. Someone stuck a boot on it. Great. Looks like you're staying. Okay. Oops, sorry, 1 second. I bumped a button on my computer. There we are. You get a consolation prize for your booted Nissan. A lanyard that lets you wander around without getting shot. You also get a private trailer, too, complete with shower. Expecting an attack, you procure a water drum from your trailer and partially empty it. You can store yourself in there if hunters attack. No one checks the water drums. You scout the camp in under an hour, at first convinced that the Second Inquisition will show up at any minute in helicopters and troop transports. The camp is laid out like an open-air prison, with temporary Quonset huts serving as separate holding pens for men, women, and children. Due to overcrowding, an overflow pen topped with razor wire holds several hundred more people. Right up next to that pen is a place called Millicent's. A kind of Rick's Cafe Americain for kindred, where the vessels are so plentiful it's almost free. It takes you a second to register the name of the place. Millicent's. After using your ID to pass the security checkpoints, you poke your head into Millicent's and count not just the well-heeled Camarilla types, but also anarchs of all kinds lounging among the dazed-looking blood dolls, among the low couches and glittering lamps that establish a sort of 1920s French Algeria or 1990s Pier 1 store style to the place. You're pretty sure the biker gang is made up of gangrel, since there are 2 wolves among the Outlanders. You also spot some creepy-looking figures in boiler suits that you've heard about but never met. Russian exiles, mostly rabble if the stories you've heard are to be believed. You listen in on some conversations and learn the names of a few lunatics, sewer rats, and clanless hangers-on that the new, more aristocratic Camarilla wouldn't normally tolerate. And there's Millicent herself behind the bar. Unchanged from last time you saw her. Eyes on you. Unchanged, except that now La Sombra are accepted in the Camarilla. And you're an independent courier struggling to get by from night to night. Thank you for the follow, Pelican. I didn't see you in chat there. Where was I? Unchanged, except that now La Sombra are accepted in the Camarilla, and you're an independent courier, struggling to get by from night to night instead of one of the Sword of Cain's up and coming. You half expected Millicent to fly off to the Middle East behind her masters in the Sabbat, or to just fade away as if the metaphysics that undergirded her existence would cause her to disappear once they no longer applied. But there she is. Sire, you say? Shit, what voice did I give her? I know I tried to do an old lady voice. I don't remember if I succeeded. Misha? That's wrong voice. Fuck it. She inclines her head a little bit and then goes back to hand washing a glass. There's a whole dental sterilization machine behind her dedicated to getting blood off the instruments. Her reflection twists and writhes in the metal. We're not what we used to be. Welcome to Millicent's. Welcome to Camp Scheffler. She studies you for a reaction. Let's see. A Magister could get used to this kind of thing. Maybe the Camarilla isn't so bad for us. Millicent smiles, unapologetically flashing her sharp teeth. Whole world's changed, hasn't it, Misha? She says. And I've fallen a bit, but not as far as some. I still remember what I am. And I'm glad you remember what you are, too. You're a thing that feeds, Misha. Director Olive Krona has a lot of clutter in her philosophy about heritage and loyalty, but ultimately she understands that too. We exist to feed. Your sire opens the autoclave behind her and starts taking out slender metal instruments, all gleaming and sterilized. But I reckon it's also something of a tragedy, she muses. Weren't we more than that once? Didn't we have a vision for the future? We were the sword of Cain. When the antediluvians rose to devour their childer, we were supposed to be there to stop them and feed on them. And now I just make sure Cainites have enough blood to get by. Let's see. I keep thinking about the old philosophies. Enlightenment, metamorphosis, escaping the fetters of human nature. Millicent sighs. A bit of dust escapes her lips. She doesn't sigh often. I always promised to teach you, didn't I? She says. But I can't, Misha. Not anymore. Some nights I feel like the last priestess of some pagan temple in the 5th century, left to rot in her holy place by the Christians because I'm not even worth getting rid of. That whole world is gone, my child. Like the world of Genie and... Jenny? I fucking don't know Latin, I apologize. Like the world of Genii and Numina that drove the Romans to conquer half the world. I wonder if that's what's happened to us. Our clan, I mean. There's a bite taken out of every La Sombra. It manifests in different ways, but we all know we're missing something. Maybe it'll come back one night. Who knows? But these nights I find myself trapped in the Camarilla and thinking more and more like one of them, as they parody mortal concerns. I'm forgetting what I was. Her voice drops. For example, what would I have done 20 years ago to 2 Camarilla morons clumsily stealing blood? She inclines her head toward a hulking vampire who's sharing a hollow-eyed vessel with a hard-looking lick in a Soviet captain's uniform. They are, you notice, quietly stealing blood with needles, as well as drinking from their vessel. Would I have raged? Your sire muses. I could tear them both to pieces. God, I could imagine myself doing it once. But now, I can't even bring myself to stop them. I'm becoming paralyzed, Misha. The glory is bleeding out of me. More drinkers arrive. A big man hollers for his favorite vessel, banging on the walls in his enthusiasm. Millicent stares at the man with murder in her eyes for a second, then says, You should see what the rest of Olive Krona's oasis has to offer, Misha. And glides down the bar to greet the new arrivals. You head back outside and check the mortal guards. They're a truly bewildering mix. Some are actual police, state police or from nearby municipalities. Others give every indication of belonging to the armed forces, from their kit to the way they carry themselves. Others are just fringe militia types, citizens patrols, patriot groups, even bikers loaded up with ammunition and given those cat skull masks. You see men and women in suits, some of them wearing windbreakers or lanyards that indicate that they're with ICE or Border Patrol, the FBI, or even the ATF. Food at your fingertips, a loyal army of soldiers. In a situation that blends perfectly into the chaos and carnage mortals have wrought in one another. Olive Krona has built her own private paradise here by certain standards. You constantly see Nile and lesser underlings running back and forth on errands to maintain the place. That's a sneaker net, data being physically carried from place to place, just like what you do. Data is flowing everywhere here, and it has to be coming from a central source. Hi, Mac. Your sire is too analog to help you with that sort of work, even if she cared enough to assist you. But if you could get your hands on all that blood traffic data, who knows what Julian and you could do with it. Of course, Olive Krona wouldn't be happy if Julian copied the data and set up his own little oasis. Let's see. We're gonna feed first, because that's a thing that needs to happen. You head back to Millicent's and enjoy a vessel with the other kindred. Still expecting an attack, you sleep fitfully that day, but nothing happens. The next evening, you head right for Olive Crona's office. But the red tent is locked down and guarded by that Malinois. You spend the first hour of the evening looking for signs of the Second Inquisition, but there's nothing. Was Julian wrong? As you make plans for the evening, a hideous Nosferatu in ragged clothes appears. She introduces herself as Lenora, a facilitator among the different Anarch groups that feed in Camp Scheffler. If you're looking to aid the Anarchs here, she's willing to help. She leaves her contact information, as well as a shoebox full of camp records as a sign of good faith. These are copies of Olive Crona's contacts in the blood trade. This is exactly the sort of hard data Julian is looking for. It seems like you might have a few more nights to spend here. Let's see. I take that boot off my truck. I'll have to be quick and efficient with a few illicit tools so I don't get noticed, but it should only take a minute. You wait until not too many people are watching, then head for your Nissan with a screwdriver and the old tubular lock impressioning tool that's been rattling around in your kit since you drove the CRX. You know you can do the work, but security keeps watching you. You know they'll catch you if you act. Frustrated, you retreat. Let's see. So am I going for the Julian route this time, or am I going Camarilla? Let's go Julian, why not? Okay. By Camarilla standards, Julian is an Anarch, though he eschews the term. But the hard-eyed Cainites lurking at the edge of the migrant camp are the real deal. Ideologically committed, angry, and determined to live free of Camarilla interference, whatever it takes. A few hours of casual investigation at Millicent's reveals 3 distinct gangs. The Outlanders roam free in the desert, stopping at Camp Scheffler every few nights to feed. It would take cunning and wilderness lore to track them down outside, which is the only place they might be amenable to conversation. The lunatics all descend from a single mad visionary, criminals and swindlers. They get by as petty thieves and local couriers. You'd have to stay cool and know your way around the local criminal lingo to interact with the mad ones. Finally, the Bruja Anarchs aren't your typical rabble biker gang. They're refugees from the ruins of the Soviet Union. High-class philosophers and fallen intellectuals enduring an exile that they still believe is temporary. Like mortal Russian aristocrats a century before, they keep to their old and elegant ways and await a triumphant return to the motherland that no one believes will ever come. You would have to be charming and on your best behavior to impress them. I'm gonna do the Russians. Because I don't have the other 2 things, I don't think. I march up to the Russians and pitch my plan outright, trying to convince them to come around to my point of view. You've met all kinds of Bruja. Criminals, philosophers, revolutionaries, scientists, would-be Camarilla, and eager Anarchs. People you trusted to have your back, and people you wouldn't trust with a thimble of unguarded blood. But you've never actually met the Russian Bruja before you came here. Stories say they ruled the Soviet Union, struggling to turn it into a vampire paradise. That sounds like so much bullshit, but you have enough sense not to say that in front of them. The Bruja keep away from Millicents ever since they got caught kidnapping rare and sought-after vessels. But they have eyes there, and you manage to speak to a scrawny ghoul in an oversized suit who points you in the direction of their Quonset hut. The interior space is refined but understated, with small gilded chandeliers on the ceiling and a long table covered not in caviar or in chilled champagne, but photographs of mortal relatives and lost friends. The newest pictures are on iPads plugged into a nearby outlet. The oldest date to before the revolution. Courier, says a young-looking woman in a plain gray suit, and I apologize, this accent's going to be terrible. I cannot do a Russian accent. She has a severe haircut and wears no makeup. You have come to speak to us in our exile, yes? You launch into your pitch, explaining what you and Julian can offer. When a prisoner escapes from a holding pen out back and screams for you to save him before being dragged away, you try to incorporate that into your persuasive spiel. But the Russian who dragged the man away looks you up and down and says, "What is this creature?" "Julian's courier," the woman says. Okay, bye, Mac. The other lick responds in rapid-fire Russian and for a brief moment erupts. Yeah, I know, the accent is absolutely atrocious. I'm hoping I get past this part very quickly. Do I need to get in voice chat so you can do one better? Let's see. I don't know what your answer is going to be, but I'm getting in the voice chat anyway. Anyway. The other lick responds in rapid-fire Russian and a brief argument erupts. The woman looks thoughtful, then turns to you and says, and I'm dropping the accent completely because no. The question was, are you going to get in chat and, you know, read the parts for me? Do a better Russian accent than I can? But that's what I thought. Fuck it, I'll keep trying. You're persuasive, young courier. And in times of greater clarity, I would agree to help you. But we are unwilling to commit to a program of political change at this time. You have been dismissed, and you know that pushing this woman would be dangerous. You thank the Bruja and back out, satisfied that at least you did not make a bad impression or draw Olive Krona's attention. Shit. Let's see. Checking my stats. I don't think I have a chance in hell of getting through to the gangrel, so let's try the Malkavian, I guess. Yeah, my yeehaw ass can't do a Russian accent either. You head back to Millicent's. There you talk to a few ghouls and other flunkies, trying to feel out who might be able to help you. They direct you to a hulking Malkavian named Severian, and the sullen giant directs you in turn to Gibberish Mike. Of course it's Gibberish Mike. Fortunately, it turns out that Gibberish Mike is just Australian. Why are you guys making me do so many accents? What the fuck? The Malkavian's dialect is a bit antiquated and he's hard to follow, but he's mostly lucid. You don't say anything that will get you fried by Olive Krona if word gets back to her, but you hint at your frustrations with the Ventru. That gets Mike talking, and boy can he talk. He covers about 75 years worth of personal frustrations and vendettas in 3 minutes, then pivots to explain how he's going to murder Olive Krona. You have to calm him down, but once he's relaxed again, he agrees to help you out, promising that a contact from among the Anarchs will seek you out. That actually went better than all of your previous negotiations with Malkavians, but you better get out of there before Gibberish Mike draws attention to you. Thank you for not making me do a Aussie accent game. The next day, you're repeatedly jarred awake? Okay. The next day, you're repeatedly jarred awake by the sound of heavy equipment moving around. Vampires sleep heavy, but your nerves are on edge all day. Every time you think, is this the attack? But nothing happens. Someone bangs savagely on your door just as you get ready to leave. Courier, it's Nile. Get out here. Olive Krona wants to see you. You poke your head outside to confront the Ventru's underling. The sky is still tinged with purple in the west. You haven't slept well in days. Meet me at the red tent, they snap, and then they take off. I think I'm only going to do this one chapter today. The reading is giving me a headache, apparently. Or exacerbating the... Fuck it. You've been ordered to the red tent, and you feel eyes on you as you step outside. After a few minutes spent checking possible exits, you enter the red tent for the first time. The guard dog that's always outside takes the lead. You follow the Malinois. I hope that's how you say that word. Looks like that's how you say that word. Most of it isn't offices, like you were expecting. Instead, dozens of migrant prisoners, mostly women, are lined up in front of refurbished laptops performing Mechanical Turk-style labor. Oh, gotcha. Mechanical Turk-style labor. Okay. A few with good English skills appear to be phone banking for Texas politicians or Christian charity organizations. Past a security door is a crude facsimile of a government office, complete with a faux wood paneled walls and a deep blue carpet. You smell blood. You step around Nile and peer into a filing room. Olive Krona looks like the picture you saw of her. Well, I would imagine she would, since vampires don't age, but anyway. She's tall and gaunt, with long blonde hair arranged in an elaborate braid. She wears a blue-black pantsuit decorated with more silver jewelry than most government workers. More silver jewelry than most government workers. Her colorless eyes meet yours. You detect a flicker of distaste and disappointment. She's currently standing over a man with 3 bullets in his chest who is wheezing blood atop a folding table. You must be the Sombra, she says. You can tell it requires an effort not to say Magister. Here, look at this. The man is definitely dying. He's lost a lot of blood, and Olive Krona doesn't seem interested in helping him. You recognize his Arizona Diamondbacks jersey from when he and Carlos were in your parking garage. Nile slips past you to stand beside Olive Krona and study the dying man. The Malinois watches without moving or making a sound. Let's see. I was sent here because your whole operation is in danger. This man works for the Ivory Tower. I might already be too late. It sounds like Leto was late, Olive Corona says. Or at least sloppy. Miguel here is his ghoul, after all. Leto should have loaded you up with more juice, eh, Miguel? The man's eyes meet Olive Corona's, and they look past her and turn glassy. He's dead. See if he has anything else, the Ventrue tells Nile. The retainer adjusts their gloves and searches the dead man's Arizona Diamondbacks jersey. They find a card for the Viper nightclub and with 4 inscrutable words written on the back. Ask Julie for ticketing. Give me the USB, Olive Corona tells you. Right, your job. You finally hand her the USB. Nile looks horrified when they realize what you did, but the retainer says nothing. Hello, Captain Cheekbones. Oops. Hit a button again. How dare I? Okay. Olive Corona opens a laptop and inserts the USB. A command line interface asks for a password, and she enters Ask Julie for ticketing. A folder opens, full of PDFs. The Ventrue glances at the two of you, then turns the screen away. You wait for her to explode into action when she realizes the Second Inquisition is coming. Her response is disappointing. The Second Inquisition is coming, Olive Corona says. Thank you, Leto. Nile clears their throat, then says, Isn't that a problem, ma'am? An opportunity, Olive Corona says, rubbing the head of her Malinois. The animal does not react. For too long, I've tolerated all kinds of trash at this open feeding hole. Now, the SI gives me the opportunity to get rid of the anarchs, the hangers-on, the filth. We'll take the data we've gathered here and use it to stake a claim at another holding facility. There are dozens to choose from. And the new one will be for the Camarilla alone. She checks what Leto wrote her again. Yes, this confirms what I know and what I've planned for. Nile, a kill team from the Information Awareness Office at the Pentagon will be here in the morning. Your plans are waiting in your office. Read them now. Leave us. Nile gets out of there, leaving you with a very satisfied-looking Ventrue. And at that moment, she is every inch the Ventrue. A born ruler. Always 3 steps ahead. Always totally in control. She looks you up and down, hardly bothering to hide her distaste, then gestures for you to sit. So, you're still here, she says. If you're looking for more work, I could use you, Misha. I always respected Clan La Sombra, you know, even when your sire was plotting to destroy me. You're strong and capable of great loyalty, and I reward loyalty. Her eyes narrow and her earrings glitter in the cheap artificial light. I return loyalty. That's all we kindred have, you know. Our bonds with each other. Technically, you've finished your job here and should be able to walk right back to your truck. But before you can say anything, Olive Corona says, Camp Scheffler can always use a competent professional who's not already entangled in local politics. In exchange for helping me with certain matters here, perhaps I could teach you something. This might be an opportunity to earn the Camarilla's respect, rather than their grudging cooperation. If you're offering to teach me your arts, I'm interested. I don't teach the secrets of my clan to just anyone, Misha, Olive Krona says. You must earn my respect. Our mental powers and our near invincibility are not tricks that anyone should be allowed to learn, you understand. She settles her hand on the Malinois. Nor are my personal discoveries about how to command beasts. But if you aid me, yes, I am willing to spill my blood for you and teach you my secrets. Disciplines available from Ellen Olive Krona: animalism, dominate, fortitude, and presence. And if not, Misha, why are you here? That's a good question, and one that might not deserve an honest answer. I'll be straightforward if cautious. I'm here to help. I think I'm going to change my mind and go with the Camarilla this time instead of the Anarchs, because I usually end up going with Julian for some stupid reason. So, you're something more than Prince Leto's pet messenger, Olive Krona says. I'm glad you recognize what I've been able to create here. This operation is really incredible. I'll stay on my best behavior and compliment her. That's easier right now than leaning on her. The Anarchs are drawing all kinds of attention you don't want. Let's not do that. Let's do that one. Or maybe I'll do that one. Your underlings are crooked and stealing blood. It shouldn't be hard to offer my services as a shrewd auditor and investigator. Yes, Misha, obviously they're stealing blood. They're vampires. I permit some slack in my operation because rigid control is impossible. They're selling the blood, you say. What? You walk her through the details of what you think is happening. After a few minutes, Olive Krona reaches into a file cabinet and slaps down about 5 pounds worth of records. This shouldn't take someone with your skills long. I want you to go through these transfers and note any discrepancies. You're going to take some notes back to Prince Leto. You'll be paid, of course. But in addition, I will consider a more extensive arrangement. I wouldn't want you to go working permanently for Leto, after all. That SI raid, you say. You don't want to sound alarmist or to impugn Olive Krona's abilities, but I'll see your car moved to a secure location, and free to move, of course, but review those ledgers and be careful with them. I am showing them to you as a sign of trust. You scan them, instantly recognizing things you can use to get around the camp more efficiently. Olive Krona's complacency is alarming, but also strangely convincing. Has the supernatural charisma of Clan Ventru subtly influenced your reaction? No, certainly not. You stand up, confident that you can help the Camarilla manage a successful, good God, I can't talk today, evacuation so they can rebuild elsewhere. The Malinois escorts you out, then freezes and finally reacts to something, snarling at the man in the door. You're a hard woman to find, Ellen. I can't believe you made me leave my gamer chair. You turn at the familiar voice. Julian Sim, stands in the doorway. The Ventru racks her brain for a moment, then says, "The water boy?" "Julian Sim," the Banu Hakim says. "He's wearing a good gut. Junji Ito?" Anyway, he's wearing a hoodie and a sly grin. Ellen waits a beat. You realize she's waiting for her retainers to swarm Julian, but they don't come. She reacts graciously to that revelation, gesturing for her dog to stand down. "What do you want, boy?" she asks the Assamite. "I want you to stop overestimating your chances," Julian says. He tosses a plastic folder full of photographs and documents on Olive Cromwell's desk. Her eyes widen as she sorts through them. "The IAO kill team is going to smash you to paste and then light that paste on fire," Julian says. "You don't have time to pack everything in neat little boxes. Get out now." "But yes, all your hard work, very sad. Run a tighter ship." Let me start that over. "Yes, all your hard work, very sad. Run a tighter ship next time." "How dare you, fledgling!" Olive Crona snaps. The Malinois snarls. "That's Dr. Fledgling to you, GS-10, Julian says. "What's your degree in?" "I don't know, a lot of things. The point is, I'm offering my services to expedite your evacuation." "OCR scanners, encryption?" Olive Crona asks. "No." "Then what?" "I drove here in a van full of librarians from the University of Arizona." Olive Crona's eyes dart from you to Julian and back to you. "Misha, keep an eye on Sim while his librarians help me pack." The moment you're out of Olive Crona's earshot in the fast-emptying main room of the Red Tent, Julian takes you by the elbow and says, "You better not be helping Ellen. Get me the information I need from this place, and I can rebuild it data point by data point somewhere else. Ellen can't. She thinks she can, but she doesn't have the time or expertise." You glance around. At least one of Olive Crona's retainers are watching Julian at all times, so Julian can't actually fight you if you defy him. Let's see. If Julian thinks he can cut me a better deal than Olive Crona, I'm changing sides. Fine, I'll make sure you get what you need. Julian smiles. "Perfect," he says. "You don't need to do anything different, just grab as much data as you can. I need to coordinate with my people." He hurries off to organize his librarians. You step outside the Red Tent. The evacuation is really kicking off, with Olive Crona coordinating her underlings and Julian pretending to help her while chatting with you. He seems friendly at the moment, and stealing as much as he can. You consider how you can help, or help, as the case may be. Olive Crona keeps a lot of files and equipment on lockdown in the Red Tent. What is she hiding in there? If you keep your wits about you, you could use the distraction to break into her secure area and see what's back there. Your Nosferatu contact, Lenora, could help you organize the Anarchs to load up supplies, which would take leadership skills and attention to detail, mostly to make sure they didn't steal too much. If you're smart and sufficiently technically inclined to not trigger a glitch out, extensive computer data is waiting to be transferred out. The equivalent physical data, boxes of files, folders, maps, and mimeographs, would require an equal degree of intelligence as well as a good understanding of academic research techniques in order to grab the most valuable material. Olive Krona's operation is already a mess. Whether digital or physical, someone with a keen eye for detail might just be able to hang around and spot everything that gets dropped, misplaced, or misfiled. There's a lot of equipment to move, and the cat-masked guards aren't helping. Why would they? This is vampire business, and most of them don't understand what's happening. But you could ask Olive Krona for money and pass some of her cash around to get the guards working for you. And while the Russian Bruja would have to be persuaded to help, their tent is right next to Olive Krona's. If you could convince them to help with the evacuation instead of just fleeing, they might be useful. Whatever you do, you can't let this data get caught out in the open. If the SI hits you before it's packed up, it'll be a significant breach of the Masquerade. Let's see. Start with the computer data. With the threat of the Second Inquisition in the minds of every kindred, there's less computer data to pack up than there would have been 10 years ago. Welcome back, Mac. The problem is that organization has suffered. You find yourself a closet full of laptops, thumb drives, and external hard drives. None of them labeled or organized, and without a tech specialist in charge of sorting through them. Fortunately, Olive Krona's missing tech person left a README file on most of the computers that includes the physical locations of important files and careful instructions about how to keep the information off the internet. Nowadays, laptops just love connecting to the internet, so you follow the instructions to the letter, transfer everything to a single external hard drive, and leave with your wallet-sized prize. I don't have an argument to that, Mac. How dare you? You return to the red tent as Julian and Olive Krona finish emptying out the government offices. They're arguing in acrimonious and frightened tones. Almost nothing is rolled out, and the camp is in chaos. Nile pushes their way through the crowds to speak to Olive Krona. They're limping. Two of their fellow retainers are helping a third get out of their ballistic vest. You can see she's been shot twice. Listening carefully, you hear Nile say, "All around the camp already. They'll be here in less than an hour," and Julian holds up a hand for Nile to be silent. The Banu Hakim cocks his head and listens. The retainer shakes their head, but you hear what Olive Krona and Julian hear. The faint drone of helicopters. Let's see. I use my brains and investigative ability to make sure key data doesn't go missing. Actually, no, we're going to break into Olive Krona's secure facilities. Burglary is easier when no one can see you. I wrap myself in shadows and break into Olive Krona's secure facilities. This is an oblivion skill. The most valuable supplies and information are kept in trailers, and most of them are being loaded up right now. When a semi-truck starts backing up behind the red tent and the rear flaps open, you realize you have to act now. The only trick will be timing your intrusion so the Malinois doesn't rip your face off. You act only when the truck starts to move. You hop on board from behind, pop the lock, and get inside after the red tent guards leave, but before the truck joins the convoy. Inside, your cell phone flashlight illuminates computers, furniture, office equipment. You spot a heavy metal safe underneath an office chair. You'll never be able to open a safe like that, though. But then you notice a small manila envelope taped to its side. You open it. The key. You open the safe and extract all sorts of interesting documents about the camp's activities, plus some emergency cash. You grab everything, then drop out of the trailer before it joins the convoy at Camp Scheffler's main gate. You peer into the back of your Nissan, surprised that it's full of equipment. Key data, Julian says in answer to your question. Don't lose it. You appear to have inherited a whole file cabinet and several old tower-style CPUs. Elsewhere, the evacuation is proceeding smoothly. It's time to roll, Olive Krona tells Nile. The retainer nods and gets Olive Krona and the Malinois in her jeep. Julian gives you a smug nod and hops in his Sprinter van. For a moment, you wonder what's to become of the prisoners. No one let them out. But then an F-150 behind you lays on its horn and flashes his lights like you're not rolling forward fast enough in a Burger King drive-thru. The convoy is moving. You roll through the main gate. Julian used to say that when a plan went perfectly, everything was boring. He only said that about his StarCraft games, but it applies in real life too. There's some action behind you and a helicopter screams overhead 10 minutes up the road, but if the Information Awareness Office or whoever authorized this op expected a pitched battle, they should have struck earlier. You're gone. Since dawn is so near, the convoy starts breaking up a half hour outside the camp. You find a location taped to your sun visor. 5 more minutes of driving, you're just starting to feel nervous as the eastern sky lightens. And you turn onto a dirt road and arrive at an abandoned wildlife conservation facility. Boarded up, but so far from any major hideaways that graffiti has barely touched it. You check inside. The windows are covered, and no light can get inside. This will do. You head into the abandoned building to rest. You get back on the road the moment the sun sets. You keep off the major highways. The radio is full of wildly incorrect chatter about the terrorist attack on an ice holding facility. You reach Tucson before midnight. Excuse me. You park near Julian's drop box. 2 women are waiting beside a half-full Nissan Cube to take everything. Or to take everything you took with you from your Nissan. They're watching a video on their phone of the storage facility off exit 306 surrounded by police and FBI agents. This is good. Maybe even great. Julian will be able to use all this data to build his own Camp Scheffler. Olive Krona might be angry, but she's an angry failure right now, and it's her word against yours. You stop off at the Viper, and while Prince Leteau is too busy for a proper debriefing, his retainer, Alexander, sits you down in front of an old-fashioned typewriter to type up what happened. When the old ghoul scans your work, he says, "I doubt Prince Leteau will be entirely satisfied, since the Camarilla won't be able to rebuild. On the other hand, you were only tasked with delivering a message. Let us hope we can find a way to make up the loss of the blood traffic." Alexander hands you your money. You head back to your Nissan and make sure the money adds up. You return to your parking garage and park the Nissan. You secure your haven, rechecking the security systems you established upon moving in, and go to sleep. That day you dream of flying. But this isn't a regular flying dream. No, this isn't even a dream. A memory? Or is it real? You're in an old single-engine prop plane high above the desert at night. You can almost reach out and touch the moon. You spot the Italian fighter plane too late, and a moment later its twin Vickers are ripping into the wings of your Albatross D3. You twist through the air, but it's getting late and the rising currents of hot air you rely on are almost depleted. Bullets shred your engine. The black smoke would choke you if you breathed. For the past 3 weeks, it had seemed as if all of the Sahara held only 2 planes. In seconds, you realize it will hold only 1. Flames spread across your cockpit. But you know this is a memory. You tell yourself that you already survived this, but you're struggling to remember how as smoke swirls around you. Let's see. I was nimble enough to jump and roll in the sands. The mortal pilots in your squadron all carried pistols, and you knew why. So they could shoot themselves instead of burning to death. It's a long way to the ground, after all. You always had another option, however disagreeable it might be. Now, you exercise it. You climb out onto the shredded wing of your albatross, and just before it wings over, leap into the dunes. The impact, even from such a low altitude, is bone-shattering. The sand feels like concrete. Your only consolation is that you didn't try to dive face first, and you've escaped the flames. As you drag yourself away from the wreckage, you contemplate what you've learned these past few weeks. August 1917. This pointless war has filled you with doubts. You joined... Why did you even join? To become a hero? To prove yourself to the Banu Hakim elders of the Ottoman Empire? But now you realize the smallness of the truth. For Cainites, the highest virtue is survival. Just by getting by from night to night is all one can really ask. Maybe other things can follow that, mercy or rage, art or wealth, but without mere survival, there is nothing. What did I... Quite the philosophical question, really. But I think this matches the type of person I've made the character to be so far. I can take care of myself, but I'm not going to survive just to survive. My existence needs more than that. You shake off these strange notions of survival at any cost and drag yourself up out of sleep. You're not in North Africa during the Great War. You're not Ayla. Ayla is dead and gone. You're Misha. And the sun has just set. You have work to do. You've learned quite a bit on your journeys. You might want to consider applying your experience toward training skills, abilities, or the dark arts of the kindred. I will be right back. Okay, I have returned. Let's see. What do I have for money? It doesn't say here, does it? Camarilla does not like me right now. Okay. What's this? Oh. Let's see. I want... How are my mental stats? Just about full. Cool. Let's go to Covenant and see if I can get myself a ghoul here. You turn the Nissan's radio to hear the news. This is an unpronounceable name, and you're listening to Mel at Midnight. According to federal sources, a fire set by left-wing terrorists during a failed breakout has torn through the Camp Scheffler detention facility in Texas, killing almost 100 prisoners and 30 police officers and first responders. According to Ellen Olive Krona of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, detainees have armed themselves and escaped across Texas to, male size, I don't know, threaten the virtue of white women. Look, I have to read this, but you know none of it's real, right? Like, whatever happened, don't turn me off. This is a bunch of bull. Are you looking to get fit the right way? At Paragon Fitness, we pride ourselves. Ah, censorship. Okay, I have $3,000. Let's see. Let's talk to Elena first. Dare I consider making Elena my goal? Blah, 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 blah. Yes. Yes, I do. I talk obliquely about power and service as carefully as I can and see how she reacts. The conversation is slow, careful, and deliberate on both your parts. Elena knows that you're not like her daytime customers, but she's dealt with enough frauds and swindlers in her life that she's not going to trust you whatever you do or say, without proof that you can help her. Finally, she says, "Step outside with me, Misha." I believe I gave her a specific voice too, but I don't remember what it is, so fuck it. You head into the parking lot where you bought your Nissan Frontier. Elena pulls up the collar of her red leather jacket and fiddles with a pen. The nervous habit of a former smoker, you guess. "I'm having problems with my supply chain," she says. You glance back inside. Covenant is well stocked. Someone not paying, you guess? Not that, she says. Someone trying to sell. Too much, too fast. My contacts are dumping all sorts of hot shit on me. Stuff I don't want. Stuff I can't get rid of fast enough. It's drawing attention. A siren starts up somewhere in Tucson, which nicely punctuates Elena's point. I need someone to have a conversation with my suppliers, she says. Oh, like an actual conversation, you say. What, did you think I wanted you to fucking kill him? Elena says. Jesus Christ, Misha, I didn't think... I know you think you're a wizard or something, but I didn't... But I don't need anyone killed by witchcraft. I need to bring someone new around, someone who will scare them because they don't know you. Then I can reason with them. Then I can speak to the boss. Her plan makes sense. Elena's contacts run through a powerful Ukrainian mobster. So you just need to talk to him and tell him to stop using Covenant Pawn Shop as a dumping ground. And to talk to him, you need to talk to some of his underlings. Talk, Elena insists. This isn't time for violence. And if you succeed, well, from the way Elena is looking at you right now, she wants a taste of whatever power you have. If you can pull this off, she's yours. Which one ate you? Elena ate you? All right. Let's convince these mobsters to stop dumping their crap on your doorstep. In fairness, there is a specific route you have to take to go that far with her, and I am not going to do that on stream. As far as stream is convinced, this character is asexual because dead. Anyway. Elena smiles and outlines how you can approach Victor, the mob boss who handles black market distribution in Tucson. You've heard the name Victor the Ukrainian in connection to Tucson's Toreador. You're not sure, but he might be loosely connected to the Camarilla here, so this mission definitely can't end in bloodshed. But before you can end this confrontation in not bloodshed, you need to meet Victor. Elena outlines 3 approaches to the boss of bosses. The lowlifes who handle the actual deliveries, the mid-level businessmen, Elena's peers, though they're deeper in Arizona's criminal underworld than she is, or the underbosses, the men directly below Victor. Dealing with the petty criminals requires street smarts and low cunning. And low cunning. Negotiating with the middlemen calls for straight-up persuasion and the hard sell, and you'd have to meet the underbosses at the Cottage, a high-end supper club, and impress them with your manners. The higher you go, the harder it'll be, but the better placed you'll be to speak with Victor if you're able to finagle an introduction. And bring cash, Elena says. They might want inducements. However you approach this, you'll need enough blood in your veins to make Elena your goal. You can't just burn Vitae. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna skip past all of that bullshit. Forget charming these crooks. If Elena can get me inside one of their office buildings, I can hack into a computer and learn where Victor is. You hop in Elena's pumpkin orange Datsun 240Z. Is everyone driving? Okay, never mind. And drive to a bland-looking glass-fronted building on Congress Street. It all looks very legitimate, except that the lights are still on in the middle of the night. The gate guard greets Elena by name when she parks. He's wearing a pistol under his windbreaker. Follow me, Elena says, adjusting her own weapon in the waistband of her jeans. The two of you take the elevator to the 5th floor. When you pass an open office with a dozen laptops tended by a single bored-looking technician, Elena waves you back into the shadows, then spends a few minutes chatting him up. Her flirting is so callous and calculated that you can't believe it works, but it does. Charmed, he leaves to run an errand for her. You have 10 minutes, Elena tells you. 15 if there's a line at Arby's. You hop on the nearest open laptop and run through a couple of the technician's emails, searching for Victor. The technician is too low level to interact with the boss of bosses, but when you check his sent mail, you find he's foolishly sent a password reset to a mid-ranking fence in the organization. That's definitely what he went to do. Get that bitch some curly fries. Okay, hold on 2 seconds. Oop. Where are you? Sorry, give me just a second here. Oh, God, no. Right, like that. Hopefully that works. Realized I didn't have a record of the chat going on up here, so fixed that. There we go. Oh, shit. All right. Foolishly sent a password reset to a mid-ranking fence in the organization. Exactly, so future watchers can know what the hell I'm reacting to. Most of that guy's emails are in Ukrainian, but you spot Victor's full name in one email, plus an address you can't read. That's it, Elena says, leaning over your shoulder. That's his yacht. Oh, and this is all about him. Very useful. She snaps a picture of the email with her phone. Then the two of you get out of there before the technician returns. You head down the elevator and then back to Elena's Datsun. You're so pleased by how well that went that it takes you a few minutes to remember you're in Arizona. His yacht, you finally ask? I need to mess with the chat box a little. There. I disabled the timeout. Maybe make it a little smaller. Well, it's okay. It's got limited space. How is that size-wise, Mac? Could it stand to be a little smaller? Does it need to be bigger then? Fine, I'll look at it on my actual browser. I was just concerned about it having... Oh God. Is that better? Let's do that. My only complaint is I don't see a way to make it do top to bottom so it looks like it's coming out of the thing, but oh well. No, not that. That. There we go. I'll have to get it I don't know, border at some point. Worry about it taking up too much screen space though. Anywho. Keep looking at your name and then going, who the hell? Oh wait, that's me. Oh yeah, it me. Oops, this needs to go. No, that's fine. Never mind. Okay. You're not exactly sure what an old tanker ship is doing in the middle of the Arizona desert, 20 miles west of Tucson, but soon enough you see its black bulk rising against the purple sky. It looks like a Soviet hulk abandoned on the shores of the vanishing Aral Sea, but you see signs of recent activity. Tire tracks in the sand, the shadows of armed men on the deck, and cameras hidden among the cacti and scraggly scraggly trees outside. Elena called ahead. A garage door opens in the Hulk, and she parks her Datsun between a top-of-the-line Tahoe and a powder blue Ferrari Daytona. You've reached the top of Tucson's criminal hierarchy. If Elena can't help stopping the hot goods deliveries here, or can't get help stopping the hot goods deliveries here, she can't get it anywhere. Excuse me. The garage is cleaner than a Rolls-Royce showroom. The cleanest blonde you've ever seen is... What do you mean the cleanest blonde I've ever... What the fuck? r/men writing women. What the fuck? The cleanest blonde you've ever seen is waiting for you in an immaculate business formal ensemble, the same color as the Ferrari. Please tell me that is an r/men writing women joke, and I'm not. Oh, okay. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, that makes sense. It's still worded weird, right? Like, because when I read that, I'm like, blonde chick that, like, immediately bathed. I don't know. I don't... Anywho. Oh boy. Oh, and her name is fucking Olga, too. Jesus Christ. Olga, Olga says. They just glare at each other for a few seconds, then Olga smiles like invisible hooks are forcing her cheeks to move and says, Victor is in the gym. You know the way. And yes, I'm going to continue butchering the Russian accent. Don't touch my car, Elena shouts behind her. Okay, it is men writing women. Good. I knew I was right. They talked about the car, kinda. In fairness, I'm pretty sure that Olga is like Victor's secretary or some shit, but I don't know. I think that's literally the only scene she's in, and I don't even know why they bothered to give her a name. She leads you down a 2001 looking hallway to a floor-to-ceiling plexiglass wall. Victor is inside, playing racquetball. Of fucking course he is. He emerges, hair silver, skin bronze, athletic outfit gleaming white despite the sweat on his face. A few minutes later, and smiles with... Sorry, let me start that over. I fucked it up. He emerges, hair silver, skin bronze, athletic outfit gleaming white despite the sweat on his face a few minutes later. Okay, no, whoever the fuck wrote this doesn't know how sentence structure works. Because that cannot be read smoothly, right? The fuck? I haven't been muted this whole time, have I? That was weird. My microphone was lit up like it was muted. Anywho. Where the fuck was I? He emerges, blah, 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 a few minutes later and smiles with greater warmth than Olga, but with equally white teeth. Yeah, no, I don't think whoever this is... I need to look up this Kyle Marquis person and see if they, like, have any accolades or anything, because the sentence structure is weird. I'm kind of wondering if maybe their English is a second language, because there are a lot of words in this that I have not been able to pronounce. Give me 1 second here. Gotta look at something. Oh, shit. Fuck. I'm trying to make it not bleed into the text. It's kind of tiny, but it still can be read, so I'll deal with it. I'll find a more permanent solution later. Anywho. Greater warmth than Olga, but with equally white teeth. He and Elena exchange a few brief words in Ukrainian, and Victor's smile fades. "And who is this one?" he says in English, pointing your way. "Do they hold an equity stake?" "They do not want my shop filling up with your shit, Victor." Elena says, momentarily losing her composure. And with that, Victor dismisses Elena as if she were a child throwing a tantrum instead of a businesswoman threatened with a disaster. The misogyny is the character, the misogyny is the character, the misogyny is the character. Okay. It's up to you, and you consider how to approach this negotiation. You've not met Victor before, but you know how princes think, even mortal princes. At least, you hope you do. Okay, let me take a look at my stats. I am not good at manipulation, apparently. Or charisma. Shit. My leadership's pretty damn good, though. I don't have charm. We'll try it. You can help, but this is ultimately Elena's fight, since Covenant Pawn Shop is Elena's business. Nonetheless, you know how to encourage people to excel. You speak to Elena for a few minutes, encouraging her to face Victor squarely, to confront him as one business person to another. Just as he turns away, dismissing you and eager for a shower after a long workout, Elena stomps up to him and speaks in rapid-fire Ukrainian. The argument sounds like it's going to turn into a murder, but after a few minutes, the tension suddenly goes out of the air and Victor claps Elena on the tattooed shoulder. "Fine, girl, fine," he says, in English for your benefit. "I will reduce the deliveries because you have your heart set on this. But you will continue to help me move what I need moved, yes?" "Of course, Victor," Elena says. "Good, now I'm even more sweaty, and I smell like the farm where I grew up. So I'm going to shower. Good night to both of you." "So," Elena says when you're back on the road, the Datsun's engine rumbling, "I want what you have." "You don't know what I am," you point out. "Don't care," Elena says. Honestly, if I'm gonna make her a fucking ghoul, I'm gonna tell her fucking everything. Like, I'm not gonna fucking... That's a douchey thing to do, leaving someone, you know, out in the cold like that, if you're gonna do something like that. I tell Elena everything she needs to know. It may harm the Masquerade, but I need my ghoul to understand what she's getting into. Yeah, so in... I don't know if you're familiar with Vampire the Masquerade lore, but ghouls are mortal servants, so they basically they still age incredibly slowly, and they'll live a long ass time to consider. They'll do like the daytime stuff for their vampiric masters. Not that. The fuck? Okay, you're starting to get worried. The Masquerade is growing thin around you. Any more mistakes, and you fear the hunters will find you. And when they do, they will strike without mercy. Pull over, you say when you spot an abandoned gas station. You tell Elena everything she needs to know. About the kindred, about Clan Lasombra, about the curse and gifts of the blood, and about what your blood can bestow on a mortal. Immortality, unnatural strength, and the promise of unlocking still greater secrets. All in exchange for devoted service. Don't waste more time, Elena says. You open your wrist. She doesn't even hesitate, latching her lips onto your wound and drinking deep. Letting Elena into the deeper truths of your existence is dangerous. She's dangerously clever, and even the blood bond will not ensure total obedience when you're not around. She might find ways to profit. On the other hand, her profit can be your profit. You can't exactly fleece her, Covenant runs on thin margins, but you may end up being able to use this situation to your advantage. She's still taking blood. You yank her away. Her lips are bloody and her eyes are fever bright as you seal the wound. Take me home, you say. Your first order. Elena is not bound to you yet, but she wipes her lips and obeys. Let's see. Buy the high-end clothes, because I'll need those later. Okay, let's go out and do something. I have my own ghoul now. We should be able to have a good time. Let's make some money, improve this place, and my place for that matter. What do you think we could do? I wish making money was that easy, Elena says, but hey, you have cool powers, right? What can we do with them? I'm actually thinking about just stealing some cargo. There's all sorts of loose stuff all over town. Didn't we just make them not bring as much stolen shit in here? Like, wasn't that what we just fucking did? It's because Miguel died, Elena says. Apparently he was a fucking vampire too, or something. Where was I? I lost it. Oh yeah, and he was running shipments to a pimp named Edward, trading money for flesh. I think Edward is more than a pimp, you say, but you're right about his operation. It's a little too loose. Or it's a little loose now that Miguel isn't there. We could just drive down to one of the places he does his business, like the Snapdragon, that nasty club, and boost some cash. Are you in? Elena is almost vibrating with excitement at the prospect. Let's rob Edward, then we can improve the pawn shop and my parking garage. Oh my god, really? That is such a crazy idea. Elena retrieves a shotgun from its case and checks her Glock. We'll take my Datsun, she says. Maybe we should plan how to, but she's already running for the car. You feel good about this one, though. You follow her to the orange 240Z. You're all ready for all sorts of crazy shit. You consider which of your dark arts you might employ, and 3 times on the way there, you consider just backing off. Maybe trying again another night. Elena drives right into the alley behind the Snapdragon, the club Edward uses, hops out of the Datsun, and walks under the loading ramp. Is there a loading ramp at a club? Fuck it. She pulls the suitcase out from under the loading dock and tosses it to you as she gets back underway. The whole operation takes 5 seconds. Holy shit! Holy shit! Elena says, shaking as she drives back to Covenant. Yeah, that's what I was... Yeah, why is there a fucking full-ass loading ramp at a club? Repurposed industrial space, maybe? I can't believe it. We were like ghosts. Open it, Misha. You open the old-fashioned briefcase. The asp inside bites you a few times without effect. You toss it out the window. Elena doesn't even notice it. Inside is $10,000 in hundreds. Elena screams in excitement and races back to Covenant with twice the speed limit, or at twice the speed limit. I don't remember what year this takes place in. I want to say it's like 2018, 2019. But all of the prices are really skewed for that. You'll see what I mean here in a minute. I'm going to get a neon sign where all the letters turn on, she says. We're in the big time. Of course, you're the only one who has to spend the whole night, the rest of the night on the roof, waiting for Edward to retaliate, but you totally spoofed him. He never saw that coming. You're clear. You head back to your parking garage an hour before dawn, $5,000 richer. Where to tonight? Real estate. I want a better house. Acquiring property as a Cainite isn't easy. Some nights you think the whole point of the Camarilla is to make sure vampires can't buy property. Everything else the Camarilla does is to make sure vampires can buy property. Everything else the Camarilla does, useful and monstrous, falls out of the need to make sure everyone has a roof overhead. Still, you can't live in the modified office of a parking garage forever. You've struggled to master your dark gifts on the road, but the truth is that you need a secure, comfortable haven if you're ever going to unlock the deeper secrets of your arts. Further, moving house should reduce the SI's ability to track you, at least for a little while. After asking around, you learn that any real estate purchased by vampires goes through Prince Leteau. He owns a place called Madrigal Real Estate, which handles the needs of people like you. Okay, I'm not gonna make the Encanto joke. I refuse. Not gonna do it. The middle-aged native woman who runs the place, Anna, explains the situation. The problem isn't just that you can't head down to the real estate office in 3 in the afternoon. Your legal identity is cobbled together fiction that is always changing its shape to avoid scrutiny. You could use your ID to buy some Four Loko, and it's an... Wait, what? Buy some Four Loko. What the fuck is Four Loko? Anyway, and it's enough to let you own a car, but property? Okay, Mac, you seem to know what the fuck this is. What the fuck is Four Loko? Okay. Is it a Southwest thing? Or is it a trashy thing and that's why I don't know what it is? Okay. I can show you some excellent places, Anna says, with excellent ways to escape into the sewers in the event of emergency, but will require a substantial upfront payment. That's how we handle the legal hurdles. We don't want anyone investigating your identity and wondering why your ages don't match up, understand? You nod. It's obvious that Leteau is getting his beak wet here, but in exchange, he's providing you with some degree of security if you're investigated. Well then, let's see what we can do for you, Anna says. Despite her apparent good cheer, she watches you keenly. Your status with the Camarilla, you suspect, will determine how generous she can be with her offerings. Shit. Well, let me look at the mission, because I know that's what I want. Anna smiles and says, "It's a fixer-upper." It's a short, straight drive south through a rundown suburban neighborhood. You're just wondering where someone could have stuck a Spanish mission among all the thrift stores and nail salons when you spot a mountain in the distance. Anna tells you to turn off, and there, behind a highway sign advertising Chinese food, is the ruin. It's a glorious ruin. Crumbling white adobe black against the sky. Its once symmetrical structure, now marred by decay and aborted repair attempts. Anna has already given you the history, but you're more impressed by the aesthetics of the place. Several groups have tried to fund repairs through the 20th century, Anna says as you park the Nissan. And in the 80s, a businessman attempted to turn it into a private home. After his death, it languished, but the updates are still intact. You get past the security barrier, walk through a maze of pitch-black corridors illuminated only by Anna's phone, and suddenly find yourself in a small but tastefully appointed apartment suite. The style is a bit antiquated, but not gaudy, and the rest of the mission stretches off in every direction. More importantly, this place is a maze. Sorry, lost my train of thought. Okay, more importantly, this place is a maze. You probably couldn't find your way back to the main entrance before dawn, and you doubt anyone but Anna and maybe Prince Leto know the way. This is the most secure and most magnificent of havens. You're surprised Leto didn't snatch it up himself. Still, all this magnificence comes at a cost. $6,000. That includes the deed as well as the bare minimum fucking necessary repairs that get you to this to get part of this place up to code. But if you can afford it, the entire estate is yours for $6,000. You know, because houses cost $6,000. You know, houses in general, they cost $6,000, right? That's a thing, right? $6,000 for a fucking mission. That sounds right, Mac? $6,000, not $600,000. Six. Buying the fucking mission. Because I like it. Middle fingers all around. If it only cost $6,000 to buy a fucking house, I would own a fucking house. Okay. The only thing I can think is that, like, maybe I'm not buying the house, I'm buying, like, the temporary ability to temporarily own the house. Like, not necessarily a timeshare, but like maybe the Camarilla actually own the place and I just get to kinda own it until I decide to move on. Like, I don't know, vampire bullshit. That's the only thing I can think. Yeah, I don't know. There's quite a bit of paperwork since the structure is so old and the rights around it are so complicated. Nonetheless, after a few hours spent making sure a few centuries of paperwork are in order, and a final call to the Vatican, the fucking... Okay. Anna hands you a huge brass key, a modern laser cut key for the inhabitable section, and an ancient map of the grounds. And a URL for an Urban Explorer website that has more accurate maps made last year. It's a mission. It used to be a church. So it might be still papal property, I think. It's the only excuse I can come up with. Have to get church permission to buy it. I don't fucking... It's old, that's the problem. Remind me later to look up this guy so I can see what the fuck. Okay. You'll have to keep the Urban Explorer kids out. Well, part of the money you just... $6,000 isn't even just for the house. $6,000 is house and security. What the shit? What the fuck? I'm gonna tell myself that $6,000 is like a down payment on a mortgage or some shit. Like, it's gotta be, right? Maybe vampires have excellent credit. I'm just stunned. I want to know what the actual price tag was now. Because, like... Fuck, we were looking at getting a house recently in the fucking... For a $100,000, well, $130,000 loan, they were wanting about that $6,000, and I don't think a fucking mission is $130,000. Okay. Part of that money you just paid will go to security. Uh-oh. Your ability to find Four Locos scares me. After a few hours spent securing various shadow identities under which you'll be able to access the mission... What? Okay. Anna hands you a laminated book that explains the security system and protocols. You move into the 80s style apartment that's the only inhabitable part of the estate. How long will it take you to move in fully? Years? And it'll be decades before you can rebuild this place. Still, with the level of security, you are now free to plumb the deepest depths of your unnatural powers. You've learned even more than when you began your journey. You might want to blah 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 blah. Where can I unlock deeper and more powerful secrets of the blood? Okay, you consider your sprawling estate from which you can master disciplines of any level. What are you owing? Did you find him? How bad is it? I mean, it's not as huge as it could be, but I mean, that does mean it's the average. Okay. What powers do the discipline of dominate bestow upon a vampire? Mental domination allows you to... Fuck. I wore myself out with my rage earlier. Okay, point taken. Jesus Christ. Okay. Mental domination allows you to issue powerful, overwhelmingly effective short-term commands. You can order people to drop their weapons, to flee, to follow you, or, when the Masquerade is threatened, to forget. The effects do not last long, and the discipline is largely ineffectual against older or more powerful vampires, but against lesser creatures, it's immediate and devastating. First off, hold up. Let me finish off Oblivion. Aha! Finished off Oblivion. Why are you dancing? I have much fear. Oh god. I got distracted. I apologize. Let's see. I had a bunch of notifications all pop up I needed to clear. Let's see here. What is potence? The discipline of potence is the dark art of inhuman strength. With it, a vampire can crack bones with their bare hands, chop foes in twain with a blade, or perform Herculean feats of physical strength. Okay. That's a thing. We're gonna finish it off with level 2 of Dominate. Okay. Where to tonight? I'm worried about the Masquerade. Specifically, I fear my haven will be discovered and I'll be destroyed. What can I do to avoid attention? Because it said something about the Masquerade growing, and where is it? I only had one. Come on. The fact that everyone in the world doesn't know about vampires tells you that even a fairly significant, The fact that everyone in the world doesn't know about vampires tells you that even fairly significant breaches of the Masquerade can be absorbed without affecting the world too much. No, it was only the one with Elena. The first time I killed all the people that saw the thing, and it didn't result in a Masquerade breach. in the very first. Now you're gonna make me look again. No, the two white boxes are oh. Well, we're gonna see what happens here in a second. I thought that was saying that I have two left. Because 3 Masquerade violations is game over. Anywho. Even fairly significant breaches of the Masquerade can be absorbed without affecting the world too much. Over a long enough timeline, people forget and people die. But in the short term, you can't just hide. You need to act. More accurately, you need to spread disinformation that hides your identity and your movements. Hunters that are already alerted to your existence need to be redirected and misdirected. In short, you need to waste their time and frustrate them so that they seek out higher priority targets. And with the Second Inquisition watching the internet, you're going to have to go analog. You need to get in touch with local news services and use them to spread disinformation. I spend a night investigating local news services, looking for a cheap and effective way to spread misinformation. Your initial inquiries draw the immediate attention of the Ivory Tower. You're just getting back to your truck after an interesting but inconclusive conversation with an intern at KOLD, a local TV news station, when a Yamaha motorcycle rumbles to a halt and one of the old Prince of Tucson's childer removes her helmet. It's Bridget, you just said that it was motherfucker. Okay, whatever. It's Bridget, one of the old Prince's childer. Again, you literally just said that. But, anywho. She's angry, convinced that you're poaching her contacts, until you explain what you're doing. Since a kill team finding and destroying you is bad for everyone, Bridget swallows her mistrust and reluctantly offers you some advice. If you want to spread misinformation, stick with radio news. Wow. How do you fucking say that name? Something Chen. Melpomene? While Mel Chen of Mel at Night considers herself a crusading investigative journalist, the other local gossip news fixture, Harry the Gila Monster Jimenez, will spout any old nonsense for a modest consideration, as long as the news article incorporates a lot of H's and silent G's and G's and J's. That's his gimmick. Okay, look. Melpomene? Fuck it. She leaves you with 1, contact information for the Gila monster, and 2, I'm just going to call her Mel, and I don't think that she comes up very much, so. And 2, a few choice threats. Given your limited talent for deception and misdirection, you estimate that the inducements necessary to plant these false stories will run you about $900, if you act tonight. But if you go through with it, hunters will be thrown off the scent and you'll be in the clear. Unless you slip up again, of course. I go to speak with the Gila monster, but I'm not paying. Instead, I use my mental powers to get what I want. Dominate skill. I don't... Listen here, god damn it. Fine, Gila monster. That explains the G's and H's and J's thing earlier. That makes a lot more sense. Listen, I took like one Spanish class in high school, and that was going on 20 years ago. So the teacher barely spoke Spanish herself. Her idea of teaching Spanish was memorize this list. And I have ADD. I failed the shit out of it, is what I'm saying. You set up a meeting with the Gila monster at a Burger King and explain your needs. The misdirections you're spreading are fairly interesting, so he doesn't ask too many questions. Though, of course, he wants to get paid. I already paid you, you say, sliding him a printout of what you want him to say. I'm sure you remember. Of course I remember, he says. I'll put those up. No need to, don't you worry, he says, and leaves in a daze, hands clutched tight to the printouts, forgetting his coffee. Let's see. Anything else I can do at the pawn shop? What about this infiltration thingy? That's going to be a lot of money. Oh, how did I get more money? What? But didn't I? Excuse me? Where did that... Okay. First, answer me this, Mac. Before I bought the fucking house for apparently $6,000, I had $7,000. I now have 6699. How? Where did the extra, like, $5,699 come from? Maybe? Like, fucking maybe. That's some hella fucking loose change. Okay. I'm looking at all the things. Excuse you. Elena has an entire case full of knives, but most of her swords aren't worth a second glance. Nonetheless, you notice at least two worthwhile specimens. The first is a Bavarian M1869. With its quillions removed, it handles like a frighteningly quick and elegant machete. You could lop a vampire to pieces with this blade. Only $243, Elena says, since it's been modified. A good deal for a good weapon. But then, you notice the wakizashi. No one cool owns a wakizashi, Misha, Elena says. And you know what? Fuck you, bitch. I own two. But anyway, blue eyes watching yours over her railway glasses. Nonetheless, she unlocks the case and tosses you the scabbard blade. Oh shit, it's the real deal. How old is this, you ask? Like 3 years? And it was made in Korea. Seems unfair that the Koreans take all the good pop music from Japan and now they're also making the best ninja swords. But it is the best, and you look like a person who might actually kill someone with it. But yeah, it's not a collector's item because it's new and Korean, and I broke the katana it came with trying to open the trunk of an Ultima. That's why it's only 2,835. You sweep it through the air. The wakizashi is a masterpiece. You practice a few deft cuts, confident you can slice right through even the hardest skin of an ancient vampire with this blade. You can afford it. Okay. So, intrusion kit first. Wakizashi second. And then see if I can... Nope, nothing else to do with Elena right now. Okay. And I need to feed. Where and how can I hunt for blood in Tucson without getting into trouble? You head to the Viper to make sure you don't commit any faux pas while hunting in Tucson. There you meet Alexander Leteau's favorite retainer, who explains the situation. After the destruction of the last prince and before Leteau's consolidation of power, hunting in Tucson was a dog-eat-dog business, with frequent and costly breaches of the Masquerade. Leteau put an end to all of that. First, there's no hunting anywhere near the Viper. Second, the more you've proven yourself, the more risks you're allowed to take while hunting. You have not proven yourself, Alexander explains. That being the case, you're limited to the kiddie pool. He's very proud of himself for knowing the term. In exchange for a small consideration each time, Alexander will provide you with access to blood dolls, cups of fresh blood, or caged animals. Your preference. I just saw your message, Mac. Yes, that is accurate. You have to own two, bitch. How considerate do I have to be? I have plans for my money that don't involve Alexander. We do not wish to rob you. But remember that you are not exactly a member of the Camarilla, and blah, 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 blah. 200 per drink. Live as often as I can get it, and if I can hunt them, the better. Spend some money and acquire some blood. Okay. And how's my hunger? So, wait. Okay, that makes sense now. I think this is going to start a new chapter, so I'm going to end it right after I pick this mission. So I pick up the parcel for the Bruja Patermuster and take it to St. Basil's Hospital. Yes, chapter 5. I'm going to end it here for tonight. I will pick it back up sometime, but I think we're done for right now. My vocal cords are a little grumpy with me, and I need to watch someone else's stream that will be starting here shortly. All right. See y'all next time. Cheers.